in 3. I got a tweet for you here, Lewis. You're gonna like this tweet. I guarantee
Guarantee it.
You're gonna like the way I
tweet
I
it.
guarantee it.
Oh God.
And we're live. LK's back. He's still detoxifying from his trip. Look at him. Look at those blinks.
The proof of life video.
High action blinks. Let's get this tweet going out here, Lewis.
Yeah.
I'm cutting you off at the pass. I know exactly where your mind's at. So let me get this tweet out. And you accused me of having a clickbaity title last week, but that tweet was spot on. We got a March 8th event. It's happening. So let's go ahead and get this tweet out. This will get them all flooding in. I hope YouTube servers are ready for this one because they're all going to be coming in here for the freaking Apple event. That's the one time a year that we can guarantee people are going to be flooding in. So we got a shout out to Reese Grundy. He says, "Hey y'all." We got Jack here. Ulysses Martinez. He always wants a chipper. Hey y'all. We got Hans W. Hello from Australia. We got Hans from Australia. Good day. We got Keith Long. How was that Australian, Lewis? That sound like accurate?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, thanks. Keith Long is here. He says, "Hey guys from Dublin." Oh, we got like freaking people from all over the world here. Streamlined 5 more days till Christmas. No kidding. Good evening from Germany. Oh, guten Nacht, mein Herr. We've got Jack here. Hello from the Netherlands. Is there anyone here from the U.S.? Why are all of our viewers here from places that we don't live? Good to see you too, Reese. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Lewis was saying it wasn't going to happen last week, accusing me of clickbait in my Twitter, which was accurate, but it was also true. Sometimes those two things, they cross. When the clickbait becomes accurate, that's exactly where I want to be. And we got LK back here doing some live action blinking. What are you doing over there, LK?
Shopping.
Shopping for what?
Nothing. I was just checking something out.
Bepotron 5000.
I know the blinking is crazy.
Yeah. I feel like you need to get into politics and change your name to Tony. No? Nothing? Tony Blinken?
What?
Such a dumb joke.
Tony Blinken?
Tony Blinken? Do you know who that guy is?
No.
Oh, never mind. Let's see here. We got we got Ben Miranda who says, "Hey Pa." And we've got Ulysses Martinez. He says, "The Puffco King." Here he is. Yeah, he was putting some serious chemtrails all around Arizona last week. People were worried. They thought maybe there was a forest fire or something. No. It wasn't it was a forest fire, but it was because Leander was puffing on a whole forest. All right, let's go ahead and cue up Mrs. You Know Who, and let's get this show rolling because we got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and not a lot of time to talk about. So let's cue up Mrs. You Know Who. Look at that tasty little morsel. Leander Caney's back. Oh yeah, he's here. I can't wait to get my frosting on him. Oh my gosh.
Good God.
Calm down.
Gee whiz.
No kidding. She's getting so forward. My goodness. Let's get this show rolling. Mrs. D, we don't have much time. And we have so much to talk about. So let me go ahead and cue up the notes here. She's getting feisty with you. She likes you, Leander. And I'll get the music going and we'll get going in 3. Hello and welcome to CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. I'm your host, Aaron Elijah. Join me today. He just got outfitted for a new military leaf suit, which he'll be using to sneak onto campus to gather intel during the March 8th event. There's literally nothing he won't do to bring you each week's Apple stories. He's the founder of Cultamac. Leander Caney's here. Also with us, he's been practicing his rodeo rope and his whip skills to ensure all the Cultamac riders are present and productive during next Tuesday's keynote. He's the managing editor of Cultamac, Lewis Wallace.
Yeah, hey, woo. God, what?
You're so excited that you're speechless. You've got nothing to say. Just thinking about all the roping and whipping you're gonna get to do next week. You are living the dream.
The state of our podcast is strong.
Well, that is true. All right, let's shout out to all our Ukrainian friends. We're thinking about you. We're praying for you guys. Fight like hell. That's all I gotta say. Just fight like hell. And I know we got some Ukrainians who are, I don't know if they're listening right now, but we do have some that check in from time to time. So if you are listening, we're thinking about you guys. Let's, before we dive in, all of a sudden I'm hoarse. Let me give a quick thank you to Squarespace for supporting this episode. Squarespace.com/CultCast. If you are ready to build a website, you have a business, you want to promote your skill set, you're graduating soon so that you can promote what you know how to do so you can get a job somewhere. Maybe you have a product to sell. I mean, I have Cult Cloth, which is a wonderful product, and I sell it on my Squarespace website. And it just could not be easier to build the website and manage the whole thing. I mean, you just barely have to touch it. It just runs, and you don't have to go install updates or mess with it. And it's so easy to build. You just go to squarespace.com/cultcast, and you will have all the tools you need to sell anything online, grow your business online. And you just pick a template, and you can launch it right away, or you can dive in and do what I did. I just went in and I just investigated. I looked around. I chose my color palette. I inserted images. I changed all my copy, and I didn't need anyone to help me. You don't need a developer to build anything for you. And then I launched it, and it's just been running flawlessly ever since. I barely even have to touch it. It integrates with all these services online that will help you run your business. I have a service that I use that helps me do all the shipping and manage all the orders that are just flooding in constantly flooding in for cultcloth.co. Sometimes I have to put them on hold just so I can get a break. And if you are ready to sell a product online or have a website up and running for your business, or you want to have a website where people can book your time and you can teach them skill sets or classes or something, you can do all that stuff on Squarespace. Squarespace.com/cultcast. Get signed up for the free trial. Build a website, see how you like it. At the end of the 2 weeks, if you like what you have, you can use code CultCast at checkout, and you'll save 10% off your first purchase. Plus, if you do a year of service, that's what I do. You get an additional discount, and you get a free domain name. Squarespace.com/cultcast, and use offer code CultCast at checkout. I think we're going to LK first. Am I right? It's just so easy to see because it's highlighted right there. So there's no possible way I could screw it up. Take it away, Lewis.
So funny.
We got some big news this week, Leander. Let's hear it.
Peak Performance, PEEK, Peak Performance, coming out next week. Weirdly, it was announced by Greg Jauziak in a tweet. Anyway, so an Apple VP used Twitter to reveal the date for his company's much anticipated product release event. Apple soon after began issuing invitations, and as it had been rumored, the event will be on Tuesday, March 8th, so next Tuesday. Just, what is it, 5 days away?
Yeah, I believe that's right.
Yeah,
I don't like doing math on the fly, but yes.
Me neither. So while Greg Jauziak, head of global head of marketing, announced the date, he didn't post an itinerary. The reference to peak performance might fit the rumors that the next iPhone and iPad will have speedy 5G, or it could be about the high-speed M series processors in the upcoming Macs. That's my bet. If so, why peak is misspelled is a mystery. Do you see it caused a whole bunch of consternation yesterday on Twitter? There was all these people complaining about that's Apple needs some editors.
Oh my god,
that kind of
really?
stuff. Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, they always do stuff like that.
Well, remember Think Different, how people lost their minds about Think Different?
Because it didn't have the comma?
Well, it's supposed to be Think Differently, or... it wasn't...
Sorry, I don't remember that kind
We've
of
all got used to it now, but when it came out, people were like, what? Think Different? That's not English.
This is a complete aside. The other day we sent out an email that says a historic day for a year for Apple Watch, right? And some guy sends an email saying, "Hey, your grammar is terrible. It's supposed to be an historic." I'm like, what? What are people talking about?
Yeah, is it supposed to be a historic or an historic?
Yeah,
it's supposed to be a, right? A historic day, not an historic day. That doesn't even sound right.
It's like some pompous British thing, isn't it, Leander?
I don't know about that.
I mean,
Possibly.
you can almost understand it. I don't want to derail this anymore, but you can almost understand because you say ahistoric, it almost sounds like a-historic, right? Like anti-historic.
I thought the only time you're supposed to say "an" is when the next word begins with a vowel.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what I thought. But then I see people do it the other way, where they use "and" before specific types of events, and it doesn't sound.
It actually made me nervous, and I did a little research. All the experts say a historic event. So anyway, back to you, Leander.
Did you write him back?
I was this close to sending a really nasty email, or even just a link to like, sorry, you're wrong. He was offering to copy edit our posts on our website for a few dollars, and I thought maybe we should actually hire him. But then again, if he's going to be making that kind of problem, you don't need that.
Yeah, right.
You should offer that guy a job. Act impressed. Okay, here's the strategy. Here's the play. Act impressed and be like, I can't believe that we didn't catch this before. Offer him a job, and then when he accepts, offer him a salary he can't turn down. And when he accepts and moves to San Francisco, you bust out your horse crop. And you teach that guy a real lesson.
Oh, jeez.
That'll teach you to write to Cult back here with some nitpicking.
Just like you do with all the other writers. When they mouth off, put that iron collar on him and chain him to the metal toilet in the writer's cage. He won't make that mistake twice.
Gonna get flagged by PETA or something. All this talk of horse whips.
All right. Well, let's see here. Do we miss anything else from the story? Oh,
were there any hints in the event invites? Right? Was there anything in the event invite that gave us a hint?
That's right.
About what it could be.
I'm looking at the Apple logo that has the lights coming off of it right now. And actually, can I don't know if you guys can hear this audio. Let me see if I can play it. I don't think the song tells us very much, but
what is the song? Couldn't really hear anything.
You couldn't. Okay, well, I couldn't really.
Is that
tell.
from the AR thing?
This is from the invite that he tweeted, and the only thing I could think is like these colors have something to do with whatever color hardware is going to be announced. But that's like a stretch. I mean, who knows?
A stretch. I think that's obvious. I think it's got to be the case, isn't it?
You think so? But well,
yeah, because all their hardware is multicolored for a start. So.
So we're gonna get red, blue, and purple, and bright pink, and yellow.
Well,
I don't know. That seems pretty far fetched to me.
Well, Ian Zelbo did a mock-up of the different colors of iPhones. You know, the guy that does all the process.
Yeah, where did he post that? Is it on Twitter?
On Twitter.
Okay.
On Twitter. It looked pretty good.
Ian Zelbo. We got Ian Zelbo in the chat here. Sometimes he pops in here. Yeah, and the whole peak performance, which is actually really
that's got to be
clever.
about the Mac Pro, right? About the new chips, Apple Silicon.
I mean, that's what I was thinking, or it has something to do with the Mac Mini, right? And they're going to be adding the M1 Pro, M1 Max to the Mac Mini, and now it's going to be like peak this performance. I'm hoping that it means something that we haven't thought of, like maybe there's a computer they're going to reveal that they want to show off for the first time, and it's going to be some high-performance machine. So I don't think this is going to be just an M2 chip. Some people have said, oh, it's just Apple's going to add M2 to something. And I'm like, would they use the performance? Would they use the word performance to describe M2? I guess maybe they would. But when I hear performance, I think M1 Pro, M1 Max. So for me, it means that we're going to be getting some kind of professional machine. And hopefully it will be either the iMac Pro or even better, like the Mac Pro Mini that Gurman. I'm sorry about the regurmination here, Lewis. That Gurman has talked about before. Which actually we're going to be talking about this here in a second. So I guess did you mention the possibilities of what these things could be, LK, or did I just not hear you do that? No, I think you did. Yeah.
The products?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, so that image and that thing, it's the same colors as that stage in the middle of the park, too. Performance, stage.
Wait, what?
You know, the rainbow, the colors on that like weird, portal to another dimension in the Apple invite.
Yeah.
Look at the colors. They're the same colors as the Apple stage in the middle of the big ring.
The Apple stage.
Inside the Apple HQ.
The rainbow. The rainbow stage.
Is it really?
Built. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
peak.
They're going to do some kind of weird peaky performance.
U2. I predict U2.
I would love to see U2 live. I actually like U2. Everyone bags on them because they gave everyone that album for free, and I'm like, I kind of like that album.
It wasn't that they gave them the album for free. It was
forced
the
you to have
way
it?
they did it.
Yeah. They force you to have it on your phone. All right, let's talk about what we're expecting here, because that's what people are here to hear. Okay, and I know we've talked about some of this before, but here are the official predictions of what's probably going to happen. Lewis, I pass to you first.
Good thinking. Well, iPhone SE. That's what everybody's expecting. 3rd generation iPhone SE. Oh, great. Someone's at the front door. Immediately I start talking. Someone's at the front door.
Just ignore it. That's what I do.
I am. I'm ignoring it. iPhone SE. 3rd generation. Probably going to be the first one that's ever had 5G. Yay, 5G. Don't know much else about it. Probably like the same, same design. Basically just a 5G chip, which, I bag on 5G a lot because most of the time in San Francisco, it is actually slower than the 4G. But I got to some other areas around the Bay Area, and I actually had some really fast download speeds. Yeah, it actually worked. So, it just depends where you live, right? So if you live in a place where there's 5G and your phone doesn't have it, you'd probably like to have it. So
if you live in South Korea, it's going to be a great feature for you. But if you live virtually anywhere else, especially in the U.S., it's just a total gimmick. It's not like you say. I'm almost always on like 5GE, which is basically just faster 4G, right? That
Right.
AT&T rebranded because they're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's almost as fast as 5G, so we'll just call it 5GE, and then they got
Right.
sued. But I haven't actually experienced the full bandwidth of 5G. Are you doing a speed test live here on the show, Lewis?
No,
Okay.
sorry.
He's trying to say who's at the door.
Yeah, and my neighbor's calling me, so I wonder if my house is on fire.
Why don't you
know,
go check it out?
I'll be
It
right.
sounds
I'll be
like
right
you need
back. It
to.
is my neighbor's at the front. I'll be right back.
I really hope that it's not that his house is on fire, but think of the ratings, Leander. Think of the ratings. Like if his house was actually on fire, and he comes in, he's like, he's screaming. There's like smoke everywhere, and he has to like climb out. I want him to survive. I don't want him to die. He'd have to climb out the window or something and scale down the side of the wall. And as concerned as I'd be for him, I mean, just think about how many people would tune in to see Lewis escape from a burning fire. You know? God, now that's television. Yeah. I mean, I don't want that to happen. I'm just saying that if it did happen, our place in history is cemented, right? All right, let's see here. I'll finish up Lewis's story here since he had to go see who's at his door. So we don't know very much about the iPhone SE. I don't even know how many people are actually excited about this phone, to be honest with you guys. But I know some people are excited about the prospect of having a smaller, nicer phone. It's supposed to be redesigned and with a the same size display.
And yeah, not I think what you meant was actually not
myself.
redesigned.
Not redesigned. This cycle, they're expecting a redesign for the next iPhone SE, but this one will remain largely the same price tag. It's just supposed to be a little bit faster and have 5G, and also also retain a home button, which is going to be one of the last devices to actually do that. And moving on, I love how you guys gave me the iPad Air. That's the one you gave me to talk about, the iPad Air. No one wants to hear anything about the iPad Air. Whatever. I'm gonna talk about this in such an excited fashion that their sales might even tick up 1% or 2%. So after getting a full facelift in 2022, or in 2020, excuse me, the 2022 version of the iPad Air will probably concentrate on internal updated specs. It will reportedly be built around the A15 Bionic. It will be the first in the Air line with optional 5G, which, your results with that may vary. The standout improvement in the iPad Air 5 will reportedly come from a 12 megapixel ultra-wide front camera with center stage support, so the camera will follow you around
Cool.
while
That's
you're
a great
walking
feature.
around. I actually haven't seen that in use yet. So
Me neither, but
Yeah, seems like it might.
I've
be
heard
useful.
I've heard it's awesome.
I mean, I know
Embarrassing. I
people
don't
who
know.
use their iPad for certain kinds of activities, like Alex E. Heath's OnlyFans.
jeez.
Like he has a
Oh
problem
my
with leaving the frame and it doesn't. So that now it'll follow him around and you can watch him dance. So that'd be cool. Got to supplement that Vergecast income, you know. So
So what
Yeah.
what happened, Lewis?
oh yeah,
Neighbor locked herself out of the house, needed a key.
Oh, okay.
that's
it's
why she had to
it's-
interrupt the show.
Can you believe it?
How friggin' rude. We were hoping it wasn't something really exciting and great for ratings, like your house actually burning down.
That would have been great,
we were,
right?
we were expecting you to sprint back up to the room, your clothes like half singed, smoke coming off you, and you're like, I gotta get out
No such luck.
of here. Maybe we could orchestrate something like that in the future or something. I don't know. We should talk about it. Let's see here. What else do we have? Did I miss anything? Oh, so that's pretty much it for the iPad Air 5. I was just complaining that you guys left the lamest story for me. After this model is unveiled, we are expecting a revamped iPad Pro that will probably come in the fall with an M2 processor. So for this one, iPad Air 5. Actually, you know what? I am actually excited for the iPad Air 5 because it's going to be a freaking great iPad. And at this point, I wonder if it's faster than my iPad Pro that I have from, I don't know, like 3 years ago now, maybe longer, which has a lot of weird little quirks with it. Like the battery life is truly horrendous, and I can't figure out how to fix it. I've already reinstalled the OS at least once, and if I don't put it in airplane mode after I use it, within a day and a half, it is completely dead. And there is always like one service that's constantly running in the background, even though I've turned off background activity. And it will just keep running in the background until the iPad dies. And I cannot fix it for the life of me. I don't know if I have a hardware problem or what.
Which iPad is this?
I have the 11-inch iPad Pro.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the 10.5-inch one, and its its battery tends to go
Really?
down pretty fast too.
Yeah. So, I mean.
But it's old, you know? I mean,
Yeah.
it's oldish.
Yeah, yours is even older than mine, I think. Yours is like 5 years old or something. Maybe even longer.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about Max, which should have been the one that you guys gave me, but Leander's
I
really
thought
excited
for
about these
sure
Max.
that's what Leander was going to do. Was give
Leander
you that
wants to
one.
talk about Max. So
Well, I
take
choose
it
to
away,
chose-
okay?
Chose to use some myself. Yeah. So the rumors have been all over the place. No one knows what Max. So Cupertino, Apple recently registered 3 new Mac models with the Eurasian Regulatory Agency. And whether these will come out in the next event is, anyone's guess. But could we see 1? Could we see 3? Who knows? One of those computers could be the redesigned iMac Pro. And this is supposed to be a 27-inch or hopefully maybe 32-inch all-in-one desktop featuring a mini LED screen and Apple Silicon. But then the recent rumors were saying that this model might slip until the summer, which would be a bummer because that's the one I want.
That's the one I want too.
And a recent leak pointed to a Mac Mini with the Apple M1 Pro and M1 Max processors. So a new Mini with the Apple Silicon. These chips could apparently give the tiny macOS desktop the same performance as the latest MacBook Pro models, which would be pretty cool. And another possibility that has people excited is a refreshed 13-inch MacBook Pro with a brand new M2 chip. But then other sources have said that the M2 wouldn't be ready until late 2022, so later in the year. And I'm kind of like skeptical that there's going to be an M2 before all the M1s have rolled out. I just sort of think that doesn't make any sense for Apple to muddy the marketing waters by having these 2 different chips coming out. So, we'll see.
Yeah, same here. I saw a story this week that so previously we've heard that the 13-inch MacBook Pro that's coming out is going to just be a internal spec bump, and it's even going to have the touch bar. It's basically going to look exactly the same. And I saw a story this week that said it's actually going to be completely redesigned to look like a smaller version of the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and it's going to have no touch bar, a higher price tag, and also updated internals, which I almost added that story to our roster here, but it was so unbelievable that I thought I would just mention it casually, and we'll see what happens because we don't really know. I would at this point I would probably believe that it is going to be for the most part unchanged. It's even going to have the touch bar, but it's going to have a spec bump. But we'll see what happens. But to your point, Leander, like when I hear peak performance, I think, are they going to show something that's really fast that we haven't seen before, and give us a preview of something coming out in the future? Are they going to give us something that is going to complete the move to Apple Silicon that is going to be faster performing than it was before? The one that I want is the iMac Pro, as I've mentioned, countless times here on the show. But I would honestly, I would entertain the idea of getting the Mac Mini Pro, especially if it has 10G Ethernet. Now listen close, Lewis. I don't think you've heard any of this information I'm about to say.
Didn't you talk about this on the last week's and the week before and the week before that?
Pardon,
and possibly the week before that too.
Pardon my regurgitation here.
He's just going to replay it and take a break.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to just hit play on this video that I recorded from the last 10 podcasts and rest my eyes while I do that, and it will just play whatever he said. So pardon my regurgitation here, but just imagine a Mac Mini Pro with an M1 Max and all the same SoC, system on a chip components as the MacBook Pro, but for a price tag that's maybe like 2/3 the price of the MacBook Pro. I think that's an appealing offer. And that might be enough to get me to bite. I mean, I would love to have an iMac Pro with the screen attached, but I don't necessarily need the screen. I've got like 3 screens. In fact, I bought a gaming monitor in 2020, and I've been telling myself I should install that in the command center here somewhere. And I haven't gotten to it yet. It's sitting right over there in the box, brand new. It's on the ground, brand new in the box over here. And then I from the same retailer over Black Friday, I bought another monitor that's also a gaming monitor. So now I have 2 monitors sitting in here that are both gaming monitors from the same online retailer, B&H Photo Video, because they had such a great price on it. I was like, oh, I'll buy it and I'll install it. And I was just telling myself the other day, I'm like, dude, you've got to get rid of one of these. They're just 2 brand new monitors sitting in the command center here, and you haven't installed either of them because it's such a pain. You got to I have like this monitor set up. I can't show it to you guys in front of me. I have like a freaking flight simulator situation set up in front of me. I have monitors everywhere, right? And to take one off, I have to like unplug everything, take it off the monitor arm, and then plug everything back in and reroute all the cables. It's going to be such a nightmare that I just can't get myself to actually do it. I'd rather just pay for the monitor and have it sit there in the box.
You don't have any Apple Watch Series 7 sitting around, do you?
Oh,
in
several,
a box?
Yeah, so several. Series 7, yeah. But
Take
so
those off
much
your
work
hand.
to like take it off, and, Why would you want a
Put it
Series
on your
7?
wrist.
Yeah.
Well, you do have to pair it to the watch, or to the phone, which can take a while.
Yeah. Well, it's the Series 7 is literally just a Series 6 rebranded Series 6.
Yep. Wow. Bold.
So no interest in that. Okay, let's see here. Now the Series 8, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit, that is something I am definitely interested in. And it looks like some huge changes are coming to the Series 8. What are you mumbling about over there, Lewis?
I'm just laughing.
God. Give me a break here, Lewis. Cut me a break here. Cut me some slack here. All right, let's see here. Let's talk about Beyond the March event just real quick. So this is the beginning of the onslaught of Apple hardware that's going to be dumped on us this year, right? So we are going to get the spring event. Now, this event will probably not have a ton of hardware because spring events usually don't. But fall is when we're going to get most of the stuff, right? And fall is when the quote-unquote real avalanche of new Apple hardware products is going to drop on us, including the iPhone 14, three new Apple Watch models, which we'll talk about here in a moment, a new iPad Pro, and possibly some other stuff too that we're not anticipating. Let's see here. Before we move on to this, what the heck happened to the Series 8 story? Oh,
I scroll down. You going to talk about that?
Yeah, we got to do that now because we can't move to these other stories until we at least get the hardware talk out of the way because people want to hear the hardware talk. So let's talk about Series 8 since we were teasing them a little bit here, Lewis, with the Series 8, but it looks like we have some major changes incoming, and we might actually see them this year, unlike last year.
I don't know. I mean, this is an odd thing. I was telling Leander I was wrestling with this when I was working up the newsletter this week because it's like be a big year for it, but it also like the details are so slim. It says, this is based this story we have. Apple Watch Series 8 could bring major activity tracking upgrades. This is based on Gurman's Power On newsletter once again. It says, he said this year will be, quote, the biggest in the history of Apple Watch since the original model.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. And then he says, and these are, this has been, we've heard this before. You won't believe it. Apple Watch Series 8. Hard to believe. Also upgraded Apple Watch SE and an Apple Watch geared toward extreme sports. We've heard all these things for months and months, right? And then Gurman also said Apple Watch will get, quote, major updates to activity tracking. Whatever that means.
Yep.
I don't have any idea what that means. I saw no more information other than that. But on the other hand, faster chips, that's not really a surprise. Faster chips across the board. But there's, he makes no mention of a design change, like the one we were expecting last year. And he also says no major new health sensors this year, although rumored body temperature monitor might finally arrive. So I don't know. It's a little bit of saying biggest year ever and a little bit of like, where, why? I mean, I guess the fact that there's a special, extreme sports win, I guess that could be a real big deal.
That's his point, I think.
That's the whole thing, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But for, the 99% of people who aren't engaged in extreme sports, what is there to be that excited? I mean, a faster chip and the same old thing and no new sensors. I want new sensors. That's what I want. That's what gets me excited when they add actual functionality like that. I mean, I don't even actually know how much more activity tracking data I need. I mean, there's so much stuff buried in the Apple Watch already. You can start digging around in the health app. You could come out tomorrow. I mean, it's crazy, and it unless they come up with some kind of way to make it, somehow way more easy to deal with. But I mean, honestly, how much do people want? How granular does a normal person need to get with this stuff? I mean, I want it to tell me, hey, get off your butt and walk around the block once you've been sitting in a place for 8 hours. I want it to say that. And I want it to tell me, oh, your heart rate's elevated, or, things like that. I want it to notice when my health is not so great, or my fitness is declining.
An inactivity monitor.
Right.
So your wrist buzzes and you look down and it says your fitness is not so great.
Well, I mean, I get them all the time. It's like, there's one where I didn't do anything for a couple of days. No workouts. I got a bum arm, everything. And it's like, on Saturday morning, I think it said, you can do better, or you can do it. It wouldn't say you can do better. It would say you can do it. Like, give it the old college try.
And you lay there like, over.
But I do find those things to be kind of helpful sometimes, and they have motivated me at times. But I don't know. I'm really curious what kind of major activity tracking updates they're talking about, because I can't really envision there being that much more that I need to know about my activities.
I love the timing of the activity notifications. Like a lot of times when it notifies me that I've met my exercise goal, it's like it's some strange time. Like I'll have just laid down in bed, and then it pings me, and it's like you've reached your exercise goal.
Right.
One time I was literally standing there eating a bag of chips, and my wrist buzzes. I looked at it, it goes, "Move goal achieved." I was like,
heavy jaw work.
I got to do this more often.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, the notifications really are so good. I love the fact that it has all these different exercises that available that didn't have before. Like the weightlifting one is really good, like the outdoor walk and stuff. And yesterday I was on a walk and I forgot to turn my watch or tell my watch that I was going on a walk, and it pinged me. And it was like, "Are you on? It seems like you're on a walk." And I was like, "Man, that is great." And I hit, "Yeah, I want to record this." And it started it from 10 minutes prior when I had started the walk and recorded the whole thing. It's like the TiVo of exercise. It really has gotten so good.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's like it already seems like such a high quality device. Like I don't know. I mean, it almost seems like the only way to make it better is to give it the these crazy health sensor type thing related to sensors, And I don't, it sounds like from everything we've heard, not just Gurman, everything we've heard lately that probably isn't happening, this
Well,
year.
it sounds like it's a software thing, right? Major updates to activity tracking, maybe using the same sensors that it's got, but they're going to do some, they're going to tweak the software because, Irfan's point, it is pretty remarkable. Like all the data it's collecting in the background automatically, and then you hit the button and it'll record your walk. But it's getting your walking cadence, your heart rate. Maybe they'll incorporate some of the blood oxygen sensor stuff, which I've never used actually. Do you ever check that?
Literally never.
Yeah, I do sometimes, but it's checking it in the background at all times, And if your levels drop, it'll do the same thing it does if you're haven't got off your butt in 3 hours.
Breathe.
Well,
you
it
stop
just,
breathing, and you're
just
like,
basically says, "Hey, this appears to not be headed in the right direction. Get thee to a hospital." I don't know. To me, the device just seems pretty solid and pretty amazing already. And I'm pretty happy with it. I wouldn't mind if, I don't have a problem wearing an Apple Watch Series 6, which is the one I got. It's fine. I didn't even feel the need to upgrade to 7. And if they don't do anything, if they don't add like a new sensor, it's going to be hard to plunk down $400 or $500 for a new one if it's just the same.
Yeah, that is true. To your point, that's actually a good point. I mean, Gurman, I think the point of his article was it's going to be a big year for Apple Watch because they are potentially releasing a new model that is going to be geared towards people who are serious into fitness, right? Like extreme athletes and stuff. But if you're not that person, what are they going to do to the Apple Watch that's going to make it better than it already is without adding a new sensor? It does kind of feel like it's not worth upgrading, right? I mean, if they just add a new software feature, that might be cool, but I would love to have at least, they mentioned the temperature sensor. I think that would be cool. That would actually be useful if you have a fever or something. It could tell you what your temperature is. That would be useful on occasion. But there has kind of been a lack of new sensor development in the Apple Watch for a while, and it's a major bummer, man.
But I would say keep in mind that somehow to me the Apple Watch, their secrecy about their device, that device in particular, seems much higher than the other ones, right? And the rumors have been wrong more often, and so who knows? I mean, I remember thinking,
especially,
last year was a major.
That was
miss.
one of the
Everybody
biggest
missed
misses
that.
I've ever seen. Like, we were all so shocked because like Prosser had like the renders and everything, right? Which he's got Ian's elbow, right? Ian's elbow he has a talent for creating renders that look beautiful and look realistic. So when you see them, they kind of sink into your psyche and you start to think that's what it's going to be, right?
Right.
And then when they come out and they're like, actually, it's going to be exactly the same, except we have taken a Sharpie and crossed out the 6 and wrote a 7. So now it's an S7. And that's basically it. So it would be so when you don't get something like that, it's really deflating. I kind of wonder what there will be for us, people who aren't planning on buying like the fitness version of the watch.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe the fitness one will look, just crazy new design or something. Maybe
like
it'll
really
look
aggressive.
Yeah, like you'll see it, you'll be like, man, I gotta have that one. Even though I'm, my most most extreme sport is walking up to the liquor store, right?
Have there been any rumors about what it will look like, the extreme tracking one?
When this stuff first came out, people were talking about it. They're going after Garmin, right? Isn't it Garmin that makes those? Watches. But I haven't heard anything concrete since then, and I think that was nothing but speculation. And the stuff that we were just talking about 7 being not that big of a deal, but I mean they did make it more rugged last year, right? I mean that was their pitch. It's the most rugged Apple Watch ever. So okay, well maybe this will be looking like a tank and look real masculine or something. I don't know.
If they do come out with a rugged version, I mean, from what I was reading, it's supposed to be larger, and I bet you one of the features will be really good battery life, right? So they'll just pack that thing with battery, and it might even go 2-3 days. I'm just guessing. Like,
I mean, and that actually makes sense for people who are into, seriously into sports, because the more you use the sports stuff, the faster the battery disappears, right? So
that's right. Or you go on like a multi-day hike.
That's a good idea. A multi-day hike
Yeah, I know. Imagine that.
up Kilimanjaro.
My friend invited me on a multi-day hike one time, and I almost died. Like literally, we got because he was in great shape. He did the Pacific Crest Trail, which goes from Mexico to Canada, and this was the home stretch for him. So he had already gone through like the bottom to the top of the U.S. And he comes out of the mountain looking like some kind of wizard from Lord of the Rings. Man, he had like this long, scraggly beard. He had lost like 50 pounds. I mean,
Wow.
because he's just been walking for 3 months straight. And he was telling us to come meet him on this hike, and I was like, dude, how difficult is this hike gonna be, right? And he's like, oh, it's gonna be easy. It's just pretty much flat, and then we'll go in, we'll hike for a couple days, and then you'll be done. And you know, half the hike was like, I don't know what incline this is. It was like 90 degrees. It was like you literally had to be on all fours, like Gollum climbing up that dang hill because it was so steep.
You're kidding me.
I'm dead serious. It was one of the most difficult hikes I've ever been on, and you're just pouring sweat, right? It's like the pores are practically squirting it out because it's so difficult. And then partway through the hike, he got way far ahead of us, and we must have taken a wrong turn of the trail somewhere. So now all of a sudden, I'm there with my wife. It's just me and her. It's starting to get dark. We're in the mountains by ourselves with no tent and no nothing. We don't know where we are. She's starting to get sad. She's starting to get scared, right? And I'm trying to keep my cool, but I'm thinking to myself, we might die here tonight. And we just kept walking, and we were going down the mountain at this point. So we knew that we were headed in the right direction because we were just trying to get off the mountain at this point. And then we meet up. We see like this tent off in like the brush, and we kind of like go over there and try to see if anyone's there. And this guy comes out, and he's another hiker, and he's like, "Hey, are you the lost people?" And we're like, "Yeah." He's like, "I met your friend up at the top of the mountain. He's looking for you guys."
Wow.
And then he's like, "Are you guys tired?" Like he went into full on emergency mode, and we were fine. We'd only been hiking for like 4 or 5 hours. It's not like we've been in the mountain for a week. And he's like, "Here, you guys probably need some energy, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Open your mouth and put your head back." And I was like, "What?" And he grabs my face, pushes it back like that, and he pulls out this little vial and squirts like this like goo into my mouth,
Oh, jeez.
which was actually pretty tasty. And then he told us which way to go, and we hiked off the mountain. And we were so famished, we ended up going to Jack in the Box, and it was like one of the most delicious meals I've ever had in my whole life because we had like not eaten in 6 hours and we were walking that whole time.
Oh, jeez.
That's my story.
The goo didn't fill you up. It wasn't satisfying.
He didn't give me nearly enough goo to give me energy. It's like he just gave me a little squirt. I'm like, dude, if you want me to have energy, I need to like have half that vial of goo. It's not nearly enough.
It's probably like 4,000 calories.
Yeah, or it was like some kind of mountain goo. That's what that was what it was called. He probably made it himself. Here, have a squirt of my mountain goo.
Homemade. God,
You want some of my homemade mountain goo?
This is getting grim.
And he forced it on me too. It was very aggressive.
They give you the recipe, and that's what you got in that green mason jar.
I just wanted to get out of there before he chopped me up and ate me in his tent. So no, we took off down the trail. I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah, activity tracker. So that'd be cool if
we get on this.
that'd be really cool if Apple released a a activity version, like a athlete version of the Apple Watch with great battery life. So I think that's it. I think that's everything.
That's an interesting angle. I like the idea of the bigger battery. That actually, that would be a compelling feature of a extreme watch for somebody who's not an extreme sports guy.
Yeah, my neighbors are extreme athletes. So they do triathlons and everything, and that's one of the prime reasons they use Garmin's is because the battery life is like a week long, and they don't want to be charging their watch all the time. I mean, it is a kind of a pain to be charging your watch. You have to charge it every day, and if you don't, it goes dead, right? And it would be think how much more useful your watch would be if you could go 3, 4, 5 days without charging it. That'd be super useful.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No. Okay,
You're sold.
I'm mildly excited.
You're gonna buy one. I just hope they make it in the smaller version because I think the larger screened Apple Watches look ridiculous on my arm, so I get like the dainty small version, and it's
the
it's
giant
perfect.
thing.
You like the giant one?
Yeah.
It looks comically big on my wrist, so I like the smaller version.
I don't think we mentioned this though. The other thing is like Apple Watch Series 3 probably going away.
Yeah, well,
Finally, I think it is about time, isn't it?
Yeah. That watch wasn't actually terrible. It
No,
wasn't
but
nearly as bad as a Series Zero.
right. But the difference between 3 and 4 was pretty amazing.
And how old is it now? Like 5 years?
I don't know when that thing came out.
Sorry, I'm reading the chat, and people are talking about the Mountain Goo. That should be a
Yeah,
that should be a product I released on
wonder.
my Squarespace shop. Uncle E's Energy Mountain Goo.
Energizing Mountain
Energizing
Goo.
Mountain Goo.
Energizing.
Come have a sip of my goo.
Jeez.
I feel great. I'm ready to hike. Don't have too much now. You gotta ration that goo. Let's see here, Lewis. Do you want to talk about the giveaway here before we? Oh my gosh, we have so many stories left. We
briefly.
Can't. Okay, let's do it real quick.
Yeah. I don't have to talk about it too much because it's extended. It's extended. It's the same thing we're giving away. Although this week I do have a visual aid. I purchased one.
You got one. Look how small and dainty that is in your hands.
I gotta say, a little heavier than I thought, but you know, it's a fine looking. Well, I mean, gee, it's a charger. What is this supposed to look like, right? But
yeah, but
I broke down and bought
for 100 watts.
Yeah, it works great. Yeah, right. And it's got three USB-C, one USB-A, and enough power to do a MacBook, iPhone, tablet, everything all at once.
Pro, yeah,
crazy. And we're giving away 10 of them. They're made by Ugreen. It's their latest 100-watt gallium nitride. I always have a hard time saying that.
Nitride.
Fast charger. Perfect for travel. Although like I said, it's big, but it's a little heavy. Packs a big punch. Go sign up. Go cultofmac.com. Scroll down to the giveaway area and sign up for our newsletter and whatever else you want to do. Get as many entries as you want. And this thing is going to end. We did extend it because we're so excited about this product, and we got so many of them to give away. We extended it to 11:59 p.m. March 7.
And it has 3 USB-C ports, 1 USB-A. I like seeing that USB-A on there, Lewis. I have to admit.
Yeah, I took it to Phoenix last week on my vacation, and it's great. All your devices all charged at USB-C speeds. And then that USB-A came in real handy when I didn't have a USB-C cord. So it's a great charger. It's really, really good. 100 watts, everything at full power.
Yeah, I got to say lately, my wife is constantly like going, oh, my iPad's not charged. I'm like, yeah, you need to have a charger that is powerful enough and also, a cable that's legit. But it's, honestly, lately I've been coming up short on USB-C ports. The MacBook Air only has 2, so I have got a phone charging out of that at some point because I had to give my wife one of my only USB-C. That's why I bought this thing. So I don't know. It seems like a fine thing. I'm pretty happy about it, and I would be happier if I had won it from Cult of Mac. But
I had to pay, yeah.
They're not that expensive in the first place, but I think they're $65 or something like that. $75 list.
Well, what I like about these is they are the one device that you can carry to charge, or the one charger you can carry to charge all of your devices, right? And you don't have to carry individual charging bricks for everything. And to your point, Lewis, a lot of people don't realize that their charging technology is just outdated. So they get a new iPhone, they have their iPad, and they spend hours charging their devices because they don't realize that those devices are capable of charging much faster if you have a faster charger. And it's a night and day difference. If you plug a iPhone or an iPad into a high capacity charger like this, it will charge so much faster than it would if you still have your 12-watt iPad charger or something. I mean, it's a night and day difference. The new devices are built to charge fast when you plug them into higher power chargers. And that's true for car chargers too. A lot of people have their old car charger around forever, and then you get something modern, and all of a sudden your phone actually charges while you're driving instead of just slowly draining, because it can't even get as much juice as it needs as you're driving. So I put a link to the giveaway in the chat, and I'll put it in the show notes. Yeah, Lewis, what?
Here's something else that's good about it. See what they put there on there?
100 watts,
Yeah. So it's not like Apple where it's in 2-point type, and you need a microscope to see what kind of a a charger you've got. I mean, that's the other thing about it, right? Most of these things stay, well, maybe not this one, but most of your chargers stay plugged in all the time, right? And that's why people get confused because they never look at it. And it doesn't say on there in a large enough way what exactly it is. They all look alike. It could be 5 years old. It could be 1 year old. It could be enough to power up your iPad Pro, or it could be not even enough to really get your iPhone charged overnight. I mean, it's smart. It's smart that they put this large enough that a normal person can see it. You don't have to be like Ant-Man.
It's funny you mentioned that really small type, and one of the things I found that I use my iPhone 13 macro camera the most for is
taking a picture of it so you can read it.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to figure out what charger you're using.
Or like I needed to register my TV for a rebate, and so I just stuck my phone behind the TV and I took a picture of the serial number, and then you can highlight the text now, right?
Yeah.
And then just paste that into your browser. That's super handy. I use that all the time.
Yep.
Pro tip.
Great.
Pro tip. Let's see here. We got so many stories left. We can't possibly do all this stuff.
Well,
do
why
you
don't we
want to
talk
mention
quickly about
the Ukraine stories just real quick, Lewis, and then we can. I mean, I hate to breeze by them because some of these are interesting, and of course the whole situation is important. But we're running low on time here, so do you want to try and cruise through them?
Yeah. So just a little wrap up of all the stuff that Apple's done to sort of support Ukraine in the past week. They stopped selling the products in Russia. They've pulled RT and Sputnik, which are a couple of Russian state-backed media apps, out of the App Store. Let's see. Apple made a statement this week, said, "We are deeply concerned about the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We are supporting humanitarian efforts, providing aid for the unfolding refugee crisis, and doing all we can to support our teams in the region." They've also, this just happened today, they've made Crimea a part of Ukraine again on Apple Maps.
That's kind of a bold move, actually.
Yeah, it was. I guess it was 2019 when Apple sort of made it show up as part of Russia when viewed in Russia.
Interesting.
Which,
so it was only when viewed in Russia.
Well, yeah, that's what's so weird about all this stuff, right? I mean, this dispute's been going on for quite some time. I mean, it's captured our attention here in the past week and a half or whatever. But they've been fighting for a while. Russia invaded Crimea back in 2014, which, and it's all kind of ugly. Tim Cook also said that Apple's going to match donations, Apple employee donations, 2-to-1, which is nice. And
that could be huge. I mean, 2-to-1.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to point out, I mean, in one of our in our post about Apple's move to do that, we have been in touch with MacPaw and Skylum, which are a couple of Ukrainian software developers, and they sent us some pretty impassioned emails like, "Hey, would you please share this information with people?" So we've got some links in that post. How you can help. You can donate to Ukrainian charities. You can donate to their military. You can. And they also pointed out some things that they official news sites. I mean, that's one of the things that's really odd about this. There's so much sort of weird information and disinformation flying around about all of this stuff. It's a very peculiar time to be paying attention to the news.
I heard that Apple also deactivated Apple Pay for the banks in Russia.
All right.
Right. And I was just thinking, now that's crazy. I mean, that the fact that an American company can run your infrastructure in another company as part of your banking system and deactivate your ability to pay for stuff from your phone. That's a powerful company right there.
Yeah. They apparently disabled traffic and live incidents in Apple Maps in the Ukraine as a safety and precautionary measure for Ukrainian citizens. I mean, this whole thing has been bizarre. I mean, people, noticing troop movements on, satellite imagery that's out there for normal people now. I mean, it's not all just, what the CIA, or not CIA, but the Defense Department has. I suppose CIA too, everybody.
And then what about on Telegram? You were saying that there was a whole bunch of stuff on Telegram.
Yeah, well, yeah. So this is not, not strictly Apple, but I was reading this story today in the Washington Post. The headline is "The Gory online campaign Ukraine hopes will sow anti-Putin dissent probably violates the Geneva Conventions." Lot to unpack in that thing, right? I mean, we've got what, a minute. Anyway, so the post had this interesting story about it, and I'll just read the lead. A besieged Ukraine has adopted a gruesome tactic in hopes of stoking anti-government rage inside Russia, posting photos and videos of captured and killed Russian soldiers on the web for anyone to see.
God, it's so weird.
It is bizarre.
To your point, I mean, yeah, this whole thing is just being, the whole world gets real-time updates on what's happening, and you can see pictures and videos. And I mean, the strange thing is in Ukraine, the internet's still working. You would think that would be taken out at some point, but it's not. And so, and even if it were, at a certain point, you can't control the internet because there will be Starlink, right? So there'll be satellites in space that are beaming, which I was talking to a realtor the other day about internet access in another part of Washington State. And he was like, everyone out here uses Starlink, and it gets like, fast enough data speeds that they're streaming video 24/7 from all their security cameras and stuff. And I was like, really? It's that reliable? And he's like, yeah, it's been great out here.
Yeah.
So at a certain point, you won't be able to stop the dissemination of information because you'll have an instant internet connection wherever you go.
Right. Well, the internet was designed, wasn't it? The whole point was it was designed to take nuclear strikes. You could take out different nodes or data centers, and it would route around it. So I think the Russians are going to have a hard time taking Ukraine off of the internet, given all the different networks there are, all the different ways to access it, satellites, phones, hardwired, landlines, etc., etc. But they're definitely winning the propaganda war, the Ukrainians, aren't they? Here in the West, anyway.
Yeah, when I saw Zelensky, they were offering to take him out of Ukraine, and he's like, I don't need a ride. I need anti-tank ammunition. I was like, dude, get that guy one of those Rambo hair ties, man. It's like he's like there on the ground. I think that's been one of the things, at least for me, and it seems like a lot of people, that has been really inspirational. It's like the fact that he didn't flee, because a lot of politicians, they'd be like, peace out, comrades, and they'd be out of there, But like he's like, where's my rifle? And he's in the streets fighting alongside everyone else. I was like, dang, that's a courageous guy.
Tons of really inspirational stories, but then some of them they turn out to be not quite accurate. You've heard of the Ghost of Kyiv, right? You heard that thing? Like supposedly some guy has shot down all these planes.
Oh, really?
A fighter jet. It's like the Red Baron or something.
Was he flying an X-wing?
And then the classic the Snake Island thing where they the Russian ship pulls up beside them, and they're like, I can't say what they said, but it was go F yourself, basically.
Well,
yeah, but so the other aspect of that, though, yes, they are definitely savvy. They see, and you think about it, like I was talking with Leander about this earlier. I always thought of like the Soviet Union, like they're, propaganda and disinformation is like, it's like they're one of their hallmarks, right? I mean, they're known for that. But they don't seem to be. They haven't been able to tell the West a story that is in any way convincing, whereas Ukraine definitely has. And this thing, like, I don't know how much time we have here, but there's this Telegram channel that they've set up. I actually went online and found it today. It took me a while because you can't just if you type in Ukraine, you don't get anything. It's because it's like Cyrillic, right? You have to like go to the website and get a link, whatever. But it's like pretty horrifying, man. It's like real-time faces of death. Dead soldiers, destroyed tanks, burned up corpses, mangled bodies. It's really horrifying. And then there's also, it's.
And this is from the Ukrainian.
This is from the Ukrainian Ministry of Internal Affairs, and it's, it's almost like TikTok in that there's like a picture or a video, and then you move along to the next thing, right? And you get a notification on your iPhone when a new one gets posted, right? So
new horrific video.
Yeah, great, really uplifting, but. They also have things with like pictures of captured Russian soldiers, videos of them being questioned about the invasion. Some of these guys are like tied up, taped up with, tape around their heads. Some of these guys just look, defeated, look like little, scared kids. Some of them look like, defiant veterans that would, take your nose off with their teeth. And they've even got, I don't know, this is kind of broken out, they've got these young soldiers, like they're asking them questions and putting them on the phone, trying to get them to call their parents and basically say, I'm here in Ukraine fighting this war. Tell Russia to stop it. I mean, it's really disturbing and fascinating, and it's also like the Post story, which went up this morning, and said there's 580,000 subscribers. I checked right before the podcast started, 622,000 subscribers now. So like it's kind of taking off, And and then the other aspect,
why Telegram? Do you know why they're using Telegram?
I think I know why. It's because and I was actually just going to mention this because I've been using Telegram more recently too. I mean, first of all, it's multi-platform, so you have it on every single device. But the big thing is, and I'm not sure there's another, maybe WhatsApp does this, but Signal doesn't do this. And you can have people subscribe to a channel, so they can all subscribe to you. You can have like 100,000 people subscribe to you, and every time you send out a text message, it goes out to all those people, and they can't reply back to you. It's just a one-way message system, and it's all encrypted, right? So the entire, exactly. It's like a one-way broadcast, so they can follow updates from you on your channel, and it's clear of any noise because no one else can talk back. And I don't know if that feature exists in any other chat app. I use it for a less noble reason. I use it to track stock. There's this company that tells you when products become in stock. I've been trying to get my hands on like a new Xbox, and as soon as one comes in stock, they send out this message to everyone on the channel, and you're instantly notified when one comes back into stock. And so it's like super useful, right? Because my email is a terrible wasteland of broken hopes and dreams. Like I never even look at my email anymore because I get so much garbage.
Right.
And so
but I was wondering why they wouldn't use Facebook or TikTok or Twitter.
Well, because it's uncensored. You can do whatever you want on Telegram. I mean, there's no algorithm. There's no Zuck in there trying to insert ads or remove content that is not appropriate. It's a pure communication channel as you can get these days, and it's encrypted.
It's like what Twitter used to be. Yeah, are you sure it's encrypted? Because one thing I was reading said that it wasn't end-to-end encrypted. I'm not. I've never. So. I downloaded Telegram this morning to check this out. I've never used it. I found it a little bit strange. How do I find these groups? How do I find these channels? It's a little unusual the way the thing works, right? And it's probably because it's Cyrillic, right? But so. The other thing, you remember the headline? I said, maybe this violates Geneva Conventions, right? This is the Washington Post saying this, right? Who, Western media, as far as I can see, highly, highly, highly supportive of the Ukrainian effort, right? But this is the Post, a quote from the Post. The tactic also could be interpreted as a violation of the Geneva Conventions, which say governments must, at all times, protect prisoners of war from, quote, insults and public curiosity. And this is also interesting. I mean, the name of the campaign, this is the Post again, says roughly the name of it is Look for Your Own. And the website domain name for this thing is 200rf.com, which the Post says probably refers to Cargo 200, a Soviet military term for how soldiers' bodies are shuttled back from war.
Jeez, wow.
Isn't that kind of just grim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all the videos I've seen have shown that the civilians being, really kind to the captured soldiers, feeding them, giving them tea, getting them to call their folks, which is obviously a propaganda move.
Right.
But also those amazing videos of all the citizens coming out and blocking tanks and convoys. I mean, just marvel at the bravery of doing that, because at some point, I'm sure the soldiers are going to start shooting. But it's also strange too, isn't it? There seems to be a strange interplay between, because they're neighboring countries. Everyone speaks Russian. A lot of Ukrainians have Russian relatives or friends. A lot of Russians visit Ukraine every summer for vacations, and they're saying that the troops were lied to. They were told it was an exercise. They'd be treated as conquering heroes. The citizenry would come out with flowers and cakes and snacks, but of course
liberators.
They're yelling at them. It's a very, very, very strange war, and obviously horrific. Yeah.
Molotov cocktail. I mean, I find this whole thing fascinating. I mean, I feel for them, but it's really weird looking there and seeing these, captured soldiers being, that you're not. I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Yeah,
But
it's definitely not
and
in good taste. I agree.
oh my God, the pictures of like
Well, usually it's like they show Captain Soldier. They're told to give some kind of some propaganda message, right? Usually, they denounce like when a Russian I'm sorry, like an American, like the ones during the Vietnam War when American fighter planes were and in fact John McCain, didn't he give it some?
yeah,
Wasn't he
yeah,
supposed
he
to give
was one of the
some fake video? So that's what they usually are. These ones are very different. I've never seen ones like this where they're being treated with kindness.
yeah. Well, there's also all these pictures of dead soldiers. I mean,
Yeah,
that's and some of them didn't get treated so kindly.
Dude,
I mean,
you're
oh my
watching all these.
God.
You're watching all these war videos. You got Telegram, the feed of all the dead soldiers. You just said like those two movies, Centipede 1 and Centipede 2, are your favorite movies of all time.
I think that's a
What's-
misinterpretation.
What's the real question is, what's going on with Lewis?
Aren't you curious?
Yeah.
Don't you want to know what's going on?
I
I
mean,
can't
I
stop
wanna
reading
know,
stories
but-
about
well, the social
uh,
media stuff is always fascinating coming out of this war, isn't it? Because once again, it's like there's cameras everywhere and people capturing all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a video yesterday of this car going by a Russian tank on the highway, and they chucked a Molotov cocktail on it, and
Can
the
you
thing's
imagine?
On the
fire.
tank?
Yeah, the tank.
That
of
seems
just
kinda
this is
pointless,
some
doesn't it?
serious
Like,
stones.
Is a freaking Molotov cocktail? Isn't that just a bottle with vodka in it, and you light it on fire and you throw it on?
Yeah,
it's like-
yeah.
Is that going to do anything to
But
an
if it's-
iron beast? I just can't imagine they would do
But if you
anything
get
to it at all.
if you get inside the cabin, it would. But on the outside, no. I think it wasn't that effective. And
Yeah.
of course, like it starts to make approaching vehicles targets. If they start doing that more frequently, then the soldiers are going to shoot up any vehicle coming towards them in case it chucks a Molotov cocktail in them.
That's actually an
But I
interesting
don't know.
point. Yeah, an interesting
Whole-
point. It
it's
might
whole-
make it less safe to be driving around. Yeah, I wasn't planning on doing a 20-minute segment on Ukraine, but I think I mean, the whole situation is it's I'm trying to find the right words. It's sad. It's also really fascinating because the whole situation is so strange. Like the one thing that I can't get over is Putin's 69, right? He's almost 70, and to have the energy that you would need to like pursue something like this at that stage of life is really just baffling to me because like I barely have enough energy to do something like that now. And like he's in his late 60s, he's almost 70, and this is what you're gonna do at that stage in life. I just find that hard to I don't understand what your motivation would be, at this point, which I think is the part that is fascinating to the most amount of people. Is like, why is this happening now? Right? It doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Which
And if you read the propaganda that like TASS puts out, I mean, they paint this as a, I mean, it's just, it gets you to the point of like, how do you even know what is true about anything anymore? People talk about, oh, this is, the first, really like war where there's so much information in real time and stuff. And it's true, but it's also, it comes, after the last few years of all kinds of misinformation and disinformation and things getting taken down and things getting, shoved into the back corners of the internet. And it's just, I don't know. I can't take my eyes off it. I mean,
it's
it's
a good lesson in media literacy, isn't it? Because I don't believe any of those stories about, they say the Russians are, they're stalling, they're getting picked off, the Ukrainians are winning so far, and that may be true, and it may be true in some situations, but I don't believe. But it seems like it's a narrative, like the narrative at the moment is that Ukraine is winning.
Yeah.
But I don't actually believe that. I think maybe in some circumstances they are, but I don't think there's any way they're going to win against the Russians. So and there's some other narratives too. Remember that Russian granny? The Ukrainian granny, the 79-year-old who was getting trained by to take on the invaders. But then it turns out, the people training her with these Nazis, these Ukrainian Nazis, and there's all these pictures of them with their swastikas and stuff. I mean, it was like, oh my God.
I was reading, there's so many different rabbit holes you can go down with this stuff. I know exactly what you're talking about. There's like some brigade that was operating down in the Donbass region or whatever that actually, they actually seem to be like Nazis.
Yeah, straight up Nazis.
And so when Putin put out his thing saying, "Oh, we're going to denazify the Ukraine," it's like, what is he talking about? And then
those guys.
There's a rabbit hole, and it's, I don't know, man. It is a real bizarre situation. It's really kind of shocking to me how fast Western media latched onto this, and how 100% support has been for Ukraine. I'm not saying it's not the right thing to do. I'm just saying, Americans, people don't usually care about international news.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember hearing about the Crimean, invasion. What was that? 8 years ago? But I don't remember any details about it. I don't remember anything gripping like this. Is it strictly because that guy, Zelensky, stood up and, made a stand for freedom and didn't, take
I think that's part of it.
Is that literally it? It was like, that was such a stirring demonstration of bravery that it woke
this is a
the
much
world
bigger
up.
action too, and much more serious. And of course, Putin's threatening nuclear deterrence,
That'll get your
strikes
attention.
and retaliation. I mean, that's definitely getting people's attention. I mean, and it's a major land war in Europe. I mean, people, World War II. There's a lot of fear that this could be World War III.
Well,
Anyway, cheering up.
But hey, I heard there might be an Apple Watch Series 8 this year.
But hey, guys, don't worry about World War III. We got an Apple event coming on Tuesday, and I think it's going to be an exciting one. It'll get our mind off of all of this hardship and strife. And once they release that iMac Pro, you're just going to be so excited. It's not, all this other stuff is just going to take a backseat. I'm going to go ahead and start the music there because I think that's all we got. And I got to pee so bad. You guys just been going back and forth about this, and I'm like, how much room does my bladder have left? And I think I'm almost at DEFCON 1. So let's go ahead and wrap it up there. That's all the CultCast we have for you guys this week. If you want the fun to continue, if you want to talk more about Eastern Europe war strategies or theories of why all this is happening, we're all on Twitter. I'm at Arif ERFWin. Lewis is at Lewis Wallace. Leander is at L King. This has been the CultCast, the best 30-plus minute Apple conversation you're going to hear all week long. New episodes of the CultCast come out every Thursday night. I want to thank everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys. That's a big reach. My bladder hurts so bad. Next time. Oh, it's too late, Lewis. It's too late.
You have a breach?
I had a breach. I can't stop it either. I don't even care anymore. I'm just so happy to not be in pain. I'll just have to replace this chair cushion, mop up the floor, burn these pants. We'll be good.
You're wearing pants?
All right, all. Have a good weekend.
What
Stay
number
safe
are
out
we?
there. Hurtling towards the end stream button as we speak.